One of the coolest, most impactful, amazing kinds of things that I think I was a part of in the last year was our Christmas offering from last December. And we started asking this question: what would we be willing to do so that people in our community could find the help, the hope, and the healing that they needed, and they would know that there's a God and maybe a group of people who really cared about them. And we put that out there and asked you to give to it last year, not knowing exactly what would happen. And you gave nearly $28,000 that we were able to use to meet 40 different needs in our community, from all different kinds of things, just to help people who had been out of work, people who were struggling to simply make ends meet, to assist single parents. And we paid electric bills, and we assisted with rents, and we just gave people a real boost that they needed to hopefully get ahead in their life or to catch up on certain things in their life. And it was just an amazing thing to be a part of. A Christmas offering like that does two really important things that I want you to know about. One is that it's a constant reminder for us that we are all about seeing people's lives changed, because our lives have been changed through the grace and the love of Jesus. And secondly, a Christmas offering helps us to do some things in our community and in our church that we haven't necessarily planned for in a typical budget year. Speaking about the Christmas offering for this year, it's back in the spring sometime I got connected to an organization called RIP, R-I-P, Medical Debt. And I began to learn through conversations with RIP that some 40% of all U.S. Americans have medical debt, which means millions upon millions of people are having to make difficult decisions between paying off their medical debt and choosing between things like paying their rent or buying food or having heat. It also means that about 60% of all people who have medical debt find that it's a contributing factor to a potential bankruptcy. So through my conversations with RIP, I found out that they were actually purchasing medical debt through second-party connections, and then they were forgiving that debt for people. The question I began asking was, what kind of medical debt qualifies in Camden County? And I learned that it was $75,000, which they told me could be eliminated for $750. I mean, can you believe that? Like, that's amazing. For $750, we could eliminate what qualifies in our county. And so I began to kind of look at what we could do in other counties as well. And it kind of comes with a little bit of a stipulation, if you will, but in order to buy bulk amounts of medical debt that qualify, we would need to be responsible for covering $1.5 million, which could, if you do the math, be eliminated for $15,000, pennies on the dollar. And so I began to kind of look at it from a lot of different angles and discuss with leaders here. And I'm super excited to be able to tell you that this year's Christmas offering is going to go to help buy medical debt, not just in Camden County, but also in Charlton County and Nassau County and Duval County. I mean, can you believe that? I can hardly even believe it as I'm telling you right now that we're going to be able to cover all of the medical debt in those 4 counties. 100% of what's given actually goes directly to pay those debts. But here's the cool thing. We're not just dropping in on people we don't know and paying a bill and then never having contact again. What RIP does is to come alongside these individuals and families and help them figure out how to actually carve a path forward. They provide them with resources and ways in which they can repair their credit and potentially find things that are available to help them as they continue forward out of their debt. We're also going to be able to come along behind and write a letter to the individuals and families, a simple letter that says, hey, Merry Christmas from your friends at Christ Church Camden. Your debts have been paid. I mean, how amazing is that? Not only will they get to hear this, but we're going to be reminded that Jesus really is in the forgiving business. Now, that's not all. We're also going to be able to do some things for kids and families here in our church and in our community. One of the questions that I hear asked around here quite often is, why don't we have a playground? Well, part of this year's Christmas offering, we're going to answer that question by building one here on site at Christ Church. Playgrounds are quite expensive when you start looking at them. And so we're going to be able to do whatever we can do based on what is given. Now, the first $15,000 of the Christmas offering will go to pay the medical debt, but our leaders have set a pretty aggressive goal, in my opinion, that we believe, based on what was done last year, as well as the excitement that we think will build around these projects, we've set a pretty aggressive goal of $50,000 for this year's Christmas offering. So anything given above $15,000 we'll be able to put towards the playground so that we can have a place that says that we love and care and value kids and families. They're going to have a place to play, and people are going to be able to build connections and community here at Christ Church. Now, I wanted to give you a heads up before we get too far into the Christmas season in case you want to plan your giving. Now, there's a number of ways you'll be able to do this. You can immediately, right now, go to christmasforcamden.com. That's christmasforcamden.com. And you can give towards the Christmas offering. Or online or through the app, you'll find a designation for Christmas offering. In addition to that, on December the 15th, in our Sunday morning services, whatever is given then will actually go for the Christmas offering as well. Now, I was super excited about last year's Christmas offering, but I can't wait to see what happens this year as we give towards these projects. I think God's going to do immeasurably more than I can even imagine right now. And I'm excited to see how He uses us to make a difference here in our church and in our community.